Okay, today is 8/4/25, and if you want to know the level of our dedication, we are at ERB1, that is Experimental Breeder Reactor number 1. This is in southern Idaho. Arco is over there. The town of Arco, Atomic City, is over there about, I don't know, 20 miles. We are actually here the second time. We came here to film this for you guys, and do you believe that Vicki went in and filmed for hours in there? And then when we got home and looked at the footage, and home, by the way, is like 500 miles away. When we got home, there was no sound.
Nothing.
So we got video, we got no audio. So we are back. And actually, Vicki's going to go in and ask one of the tour guides to wear this mic, and they're going to go through the whole place and show it to you. This place is amazing, totally amazing. This is the place, the first time ever that a nuclear reactor generated electricity to light bulbs, and then eventually they lit the entire town, powered the entire town of Arco, Idaho with electricity from this experimental breeder reactor. And it is super cool in here. So Vicki's going to be the camera person. She's going to try to get one of the tour guides to show you everything that's here. By the way, look what's behind me. These things are so amazing. I mean, these are basically small nuclear reactors. Come over here, Vicki, so that they can see this. So this is heater number 3. It was built like an aircraft engine, aircraft reactor. They were actually going to put this thing in a plane. Now they never did, and it tells you here why they didn't. But they built, I guess they built 3 of these, and I think this one is, yes, this is number 1 and number 2. Okay, and it was part of the Air Force's effort to develop a nuclear-powered aircraft. And by the way, these, I mean, obviously they fired these up. This was actual reactors. They all have, here, show them, Vicki. Come over here and here, show them right here.
Oh, here's one.
Come here. Here's one right here. They all still have radiation monitors on them all these years later. That would have been like 75 years ago. Anyways, I'm going to turn this over to Vicki and whoever the tour guide's going to be. See ya.
Awesome. Is this your first time here?
No, she was here. We were here a month ago. We climbed Mount Bora
awesome.
last month. And so we came by here and then without sound.
Yeah.
So we're back here with sound.
That's awesome.
And someone who knows something.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Well, my name's Kayla. I'll be your guys' tour guide. I'm a college student at the University of Providence, which is in Great Falls, Montana. I'm going to shut this off. I'm a college student. I'm currently studying business and psychology, which has nothing to do with nuclear or engineering. But I want to go into public relations. I think it'd be really cool to be the kind of press release person and work in a communications department. So this is like a really old historic press release, essentially. So I'm going to explain what EBR1 does and why EBR1 is so important, that we are a historic national landmark. So EBR1 is the first place to produce a usable amount of nuclear energy. It is the first place to breed plutonium, the first place to create more fuel than we were using. So how do you breed plutonium? We take uranium-235. Uranium-235 is a really great nuclear fuel. It's about 0.7% of all the uranium in the world. We take that uranium-235, we put it in the center. Then we surround it with uranium-238. Uranium-238 is not such a great nuclear fuel, it's very stable. So what we do is we split that uranium-235, and that allows that uranium-238 to absorb a neutron. It absorbs a neutron and it becomes uranium-239. That uranium-239 decays in less than 25 seconds into neptunium-239. That neptunium-239 decays in about 2.5 days into plutonium-239. Plutonium-239 is a really great nuclear fuel, and that's what our nuclear reactor does. Then we take that nuclear fuel from the reactor and we put it into a heat exchange system. Our heat exchange system uses a kind of cool substance. It's called NaC. NaC is sodium and potassium. It's a liquid metal at room temperature, and it's really great at evenly distributing heat. we use a magnetic pump. It's called an electromagnetic pump. That electromagnetic pump moves that liquid metal up through our nuclear fuel, and it moves that NAC and it gets heated to over 600 degrees. We have a jacketed pipe, so a smaller pipe inside of a larger pipe. That heat exchanges, and that heats the first pipe to over 600 degrees and the second pipe to over 400 degrees. Then we have a second jacketed pipe system that heat exchanges the second time to a loop filled with water. That loop filled with water boils, produces steam. That steam turns our turbine and then powers our generator. We produced roughly 300 kilowatts of electricity in a day. So we were not powering any residential areas. We were essentially just powering ourselves. If you look down here, this is what the EBR1 heat exchange system actually looks like. We're on the other side of this wall right here. Yeah. Any questions? All right. It's a lot of information. Over here, this is a map of the INL. So the INL is 890 square miles of high desert or sage steppe. We have 4 active reactors today, and we've had 52 different reactors throughout the INL's history, and EBR1 was the very first. So yeah, kind of cool. All right, we'll head to our next stop. This room gets hot by the end of the day. All right, we're gonna head to the control room. Yeah. You're nice. All right, this is the control room right in here. Oh, really? Oh. Okay, this is the original control room. There's about 7 physicists that worked in here when we were in operation. These are all the original buttons and dials and everything like that. Over here, this is a notebook of Mr. Zinn's. Mr. Zinn was the lab director here at the time. He worked on the Manhattan Project. He also worked on Chicago Pile 1. We have 700 scans of his original journal. His original journal now is in the INL's archives, which is pretty cool. If you look over here, this is a good picture of what it looked like when EBR1 was in operation. You can see that all these buttons and everything have been very well preserved. There used to be a table there in the center. If you look over here, this is the coolest button though. This button is our scram button. There's this button and then there's this release up there as well. So what this button does is it releases control rods. Control rods control the rate of fission. We also use breeding blanket as well, which I'll explain more on the next stop. But those control rods control the rate of fission. So fission is the splitting of the atom. If fission is not happening, that reaction is not happening, and therefore the reactor is not really on. So when you push this button, it releases those control rods and then stops the reactor. EBR1 was able to scram or stop in about 1 second. The INL has those 4 active reactors, and they scram in about 4 to 7 milliseconds. So it actually takes longer to push the button than it does to stop the reactor. Scramming a reactor, that term comes from 1942 at the University of Chicago, at Chicago Pile 1. If you look right here, you'll see that control rod is tied to a rope, and then that rope is tied to a rail. Then they had somebody stand with an axe. That guy's job was to cut the rope if they needed to stop the reactor. That was in 1942 underneath the football stadium at the University of Chicago. So scram originally comes from safety control rod axeman, or scram. Yeah. If you guys want to push any of the buttons here, you guys are welcome to, and then we'll go to our next stop. Oh, there's no radiation here. Everything's been really well deactivated. You actually get more radiation from the sun than you do in here. Isn't that crazy?
Why did I get a headache in that room? Because I stood on top of the radiator, got a bad headache, and then I felt bad for the rest of the day after I touched it.
Which one did you stand on top of? We don't have a radiator. The generator?
The reactor thing, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I stand up there all day. And I'll show you the really cool cap.
And we are joining your group.
Yeah, you're all good. Yeah, if you guys want to push the buttons, then we're going to go on top of the reactor. But yeah, I should be able to fill in any of the holes you have as far as the science goes up there.
Good.
Where are you guys from?
We're twins.
Oh, not too far at all. So, have you guys ever been here before?
We have.
Okay, so you guys haven't.
No.
And you guys are from Twin as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Same area.
Close enough.
Yeah, works. All right, we'll head right on top of this reactor. If anybody wants a picture on top of the reactor, I have a really cute sign. That's cute. All right. Do you want a picture?
Sure, please.
Yeah, of
Let me
course.
get this thing open.
Oh, yours is
You want a
fine.
picture, Hannah?
Okay, so there you go.
So, smile.
Huh? Go ahead. You get up there and I'll
Like
put your...
this. Awesome.
Thank you.
Do you guys want a picture?
Can I just get her?
Yeah.
Ready?
Cheers. She's
I'm
taking
the
it.
camera. So, go ahead. That's good. Yeah, you're good. I've got like...
Perfect. All right. You guys want one too?
Sure. I can make this work.
Oh, you're just fine. How long is your guys' drive? Like 2 hours? Like 2 hours?
We're staying in Arco.
Oh, okay. So not too bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's the camera.
Awesome. Are you guys camping in Arco? Nice. Alrighty. Smile.
Gosh, I'm in your picture. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're all good. Maybe if it'll take the second one. There we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Just the white button.
Perfect. Switch guys spots.
Stand up here?
Yep. You're all good. Alrighty.
Thank you so much.
I'm standing on top of a nuclear reactor. All right, guys. If you guys want to kind of file around here, I'll explain what we're standing on top of.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, you guys stand on the edge. I'm going to kind of point at this stuff, so everyone's going to need to see it a little bit. All right. So this is the top of the reactor here. If you look down one side of it, you can see where they used to load the core there. That picture in the corner is them loading the Mark IV core. The Mark IV core is the core we were able to use to breed plutonium. So inside that core, there's a honeycomb shape. You can see it in that diagram there as well. The inside of that honeycomb shape is that uranium-235. Uranium-235 is what we're splitting. Surrounding that is uranium-238. That's what we want to become plutonium. We use a breeding blanket to keep all of those neutrons inside the reactor's core. That breeding blanket, you can see it pictured there. That breeding blanket is made of depleted uranium-238. Depleted uranium-238 cannot absorb neutrons, so it acts as a giant shield. Those 235 neutrons are kind of bouncing all around. They bounce off of that breeding blanket sometimes and then back into our 238 fuel rod. Then they absorb that neutron and that 238 becomes uranium-239 and then eventually plutonium-239, which is what we were able to breed here. The heat zone of this reactor's core is only about 8.5 inches, which is actually about the size of a football, which is really interesting. And another interesting thing is all the spent fuel here at EBR1, they're able to reprocess and use again as fuel in EBR2, which is also really cool. If you look over the edge there, you'll see a cask. That cask is a tannish gray cone. We also see it when we go downstairs as well. That cask is about 4 tons, and we pick it up with the big 10-ton crane you can see in the corner there. That 10-ton crane picks up that cask and then moves it to the top of the reactor here. That's where we pick up those fuel rods. They pick up those fuel rods because they are now radioactive, and then they get moved to our washroom. Our washroom, you can see down there, is that red painted square on the floor there. That red painted square on the floor there has those little silver caps. Those silver caps slide out, and then those rods slide in. That is where we wash our rods. So the coolant we use here in EBR1 is NAC. NAC does not like oxygen, and it does not like water. So we have to wash those rods or flush those rods with acetone or fingernail polish remover. We flush those rods, and then they dry, and then they go into our rod farm. Our rod farm is also over there. You'll see it looks like kind of like a Lego. That big red Lego figure, that's our rod farm. Where those little caps are, those caps slide out, those rods slide in. That is a lead-lined concrete. Lead is able to absorb radiation without it changing its matter. So that lead-lined concrete absorbs that radiation. Those rods sit in there for about 6 to 18 months, typically about a year. And then we study them in our hot cell. Our hot cell is that big concrete cube there. Our manipulator arms that allow us to actually study and work on those radioactive materials without any exposure to radiation. The other thing you'll notice here is the really cute sign there. That sign right there, the neon sign, is a historic sign. So we are not Argonne National Lab anymore, and we are not currently using atomic power here. But at the time we were, and they had the sign made basically as a giant pat on the back. It's kind of funny. Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I might be getting ahead, but when we were here before, I see everywhere it says no water.
Yeah.
No water.
That's because of NAC. So NAC doesn't like oxygen, it doesn't like water. That's the coolant we use. We also use it in our heat exchange system. So the first heat exchange loop, first and second, use NAC to move the heat. And it doesn't like water.
So what do you water in it?
Causes a fire or an explosion.
Okay.
They didn't have any accidents with the NAC here. They had those pipes are 3 layers thick. In the areas that have the NAC, they just filled with argon gas. Yeah.
So what am I looking at right here?
This is what the inside of the core would have looked like. We call this a sub-assembly. So you can see here in this video, they're loading the fuel rods. So that's what they're doing here. So then they surround it with that outside layer. So in the corner there, that's that core. So that's what the inside of the core looks like, is what you're looking at here.
Huh.
Yeah.
And this is the reactor?
This is the top of it, yes.
Huh.
So this is all shielding. But when you're looking it through there, that's the cap of the reactor. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. All right, any other questions? It's a lot of information in a short little speech. All right, we're gonna head to our next stop, which is gonna be right through the control room.
Mom, I'm the only one who walks here.
Sorry, Hilo.
I'm stuck in my footy shoe.
Where did you go? Oh, I was following you. Sorry. Hilo, come on.
I probably shouldn't sit on this right now. Oh yeah, I'm around the corner, sorry. I walk kind of fast. All right, so if you look behind us here, this is a historic wall. So on December 20th, 1951, we were able to produce a usable amount of nuclear energy. What do I mean by usable amount? They were able to power 4 light bulbs. Prior to this, in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, they were able to create nuclear energy, but not a usable amount. So those 4 light bulbs were a pretty big deal. Then the next day on December 21st, 1951, they were able to produce a whole lot more nuclear energy. Enough electricity to power this entire facility, and they were really proud of that. Nobody had ever done that before. So Mr. Zinn, that first name up there, he was our lab director. He didn't have the best handwriting, so he had Mr. Reed Cameron, the 4th name down there. Mr. Reed Cameron was the guy with the best handwriting. So he's the guy who actually wrote the excerpt on the wall. He drew the picture as well. Then all of the men signed the wall, including that last name down there. That is Mr. Jolly. Can anybody guess what Mr. Jolly's job was?
Keeping everybody quiet.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Telling jokes.
Do you have a guess?
I was gonna guess the person who is the plunger.
Yes, he's a janitor.
Yes.
Yes, he was the janitor, Janitor Jolly. Mr. Jolly was the last person to sign the wall, and then nobody has signed it since. The only people who ended up not signing the wall were the 5 women that worked here at the time. So Miss Hazel O'Leary was the first female Secretary of Energy. She was also the first black Secretary of Energy. She heard that these women were not allowed to sign the wall and had them come back in 1995, 40 years later, during National Women's History Month. All those women came back here and they had a ceremony, and if you look right there, you'll see that plaque. That plaque was added to the historic registry list. That plaque lists all those women's names. One of the women worked as a nurse, one was the secretary, and the other 3 worked in support roles as well. Every job is very important. Could you imagine if somebody didn't pay the electricity bill here? Get it? Because they produce their own electricity, you guys? That's the only joke I've come up with. If anybody knows a punchline for a knack joke, I'd be happy to come up with that. I have not come up with one yet. If you look over here, this is one of the original 4 light bulbs that they lit with that plutonium, or with the atomic energy, and then also one of the original ones lit with plutonium. We did not create electricity from plutonium until May of 1963. And then we were decommissioned in 1964. This is also the end of our heat exchange system. So our next stop is going to be that steam current. You'll see where those pipes are pushing that steam up to this turbine here. And then this is the generator that was producing that atomic energy. Downstairs we have a backup generator. It's actually a diesel generator, and it's a lot bigger than the one we were using for nuclear, which is kind of interesting. The other thing that's really cool here is outside. Outside there are giant plane engines. Those were actually going to be nuclear planes. In 1963, Kennedy shut down the project because we had long-range missiles and we could refuel a bomber jet in the air. So though having a nuclear airplane would be really cool, it wasn't really necessary. If you were going to get that plane engine up in the air, you were going to need a wingspan of about a football field and a half. So it would have been a very large plane. Yeah.
Well, when it comes to light bulbs, I might not be the brightest spark.
Oh, are you coming up with a punchline?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, I like that one. I'll add it. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I have only come up with one joke, and I've been here all summer, so she probably would. All right, any questions? All right, we're gonna head down to the steam current here. Okay.
Why aren't these two lit?
Oh, that's a good question. So these are a display. We just haven't gotten them replaced yet. Yeah, there's no light bulb stores here in the desert. Yeah, we're just waiting on them to bring us new ones. All right. This is the steam current if you want to peek in here before everyone comes in.
Whoa.
Yeah, you can see how big those pipes are. And then you can see them push. This was right under the turbine. If you guys want to take a peek in here, this is the steam current, just while everyone's filing in. And then if you follow the pipes, you can see how they get pushed up to that turbine upstairs. Awesome. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, so this is our steam current here. That's behind the big glass door with the 3 locks. The only reason the door is closed and there's 3 locks is because those pipes are covered in asbestos. Asbestos is really great as long as it's not airborne. It is not airborne. We do tell kids that they can push all the buttons here, so that kind of translates into you can touch everything. So we don't want anyone to scratch those pipes and make that asbestos airborne, so we just have it blocked off because those pipes are really low to the ground. The other thing you'll notice here is the 3 signs next to it. So that NAC sign is a historic sign. We do not have NAC flowing through our pipes anymore. And then the level of radiation here is not 0, but it's actually very low. If you were to go outside and stand in our parking lot for a couple of minutes, you'd actually get a lot more radiation exposure than you would in here, which is kind of interesting as well. I actually had a guy come in here, I think it was probably about 2 weeks ago now, and he had a Geiger counter and he was wandering through, and I asked him if it picked anything up. And he told me that the level of radiation here, according to his Geiger counter, was actually a lot lower than the level he had in his house. So what he has in his house, I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, crazy. The other thing you'll notice is that chalkboard there. So that chalkboard is talking about NAC. NAC is what we used in our heat exchange system in the primary loop and the secondary loop. This goes a lot more in depth with that. NAC is sodium and potassium. It's a liquid metal at room temperature. It's great at evenly distributing heat, and it's really great for breeding because it can move those neutrons while still cooling the core off. Water tends to slow those neutrons. So the other thing you'll notice in that diagram next to it, that is a diagram of the heat exchange system. The blue part of the diagram is what you're looking at through the glass door. If you come over here, I'll show you guys a cool cleanup cask. If anyone has heard of 3 Mile Island, 3 Mile Island was a nuclear power plant, and they had an accident. The INL did not do anything with the accident, but we did help with the cleanup. So we needed to figure out how to safely transport nuclear waste all the way from Pennsylvania back to Idaho. So how do you safely transport nuclear waste? You use this really cool dumbbell shape. This is a quarter size of how big those cleanup casks were, so imagine this 4 times larger. We put that waste right in here, then we added these caps to protect it. They ran a bunch of tests on these. They dropped them from 30 feet in the air. They lit them on fire with jet fuel. They even hit them with trains, making sure that these are as safe as they possibly could be. If you're going to transport nuclear waste across the country, you're going to want to do it very safely, and that's what we're trying to do. If you come around the corner here, you'll be able to actually see part of our second NAC loop. You can see how thick those pipes are. Again, these signs are also historic as well. Those pipes are actually 3 layers thick. So inside there would have been that NAC, the non-radioactive NAC. So this is not the NAC that has the nuclear fuel inside of it. But those pipes are 3 layers thick. That allows you in theory to know long before any NAC leaks or exposures were to happen. They did not have any issues with the NAC here at EBR 1, but most reactors nowadays do not use NAC. If you come over here, I'll show you why EBR1 is so well preserved. Has anybody ever heard of President Lyndon B. Johnson? Hopefully, yeah. All right. Well, that's good. Yes. Now, yeah. Just a little bit. So Mr. Johnson is actually the only president to ever visit the INL. He visited us in 1966. We were decommissioned in 1964. So there was just 2 years of us taking everything apart before we became a registered National Historic Landmark. Mr. Johnson, you can see him in the picture there with Mr. Seaborg. Mr. Seaborg was the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission at the time. Mr. Seaborg is a Nobel Prize winner as well for his work in chemistry. Then you can see that light bulb there. That is one of the original 4 light bulbs. And Mr. President Lyndon B. Johnson actually has that in his presidential library now, which happens to be in Austin, Texas, if you're interested. Yeah. Mr. Johnson also screwed that plaque in himself, which I find kind of interesting. If you look over here, you'll see that cask. This is the cask that we actually used in EBR1. This is the cap. This cask is how we were able to safely transport those nuclear fuel rods once they came out of our reactor. So if you look upstairs, you'll be able to see that cask would have gone up there, picked up those fuel rods after they became radioactive, and then carried them throughout the facility. That cask keeps all that NAC inside. It also keeps all the radiation inside, making it safe to transport. If you look over here, you'll see where we stored our fuel rods before they went into the reactor. So if you're curious what nuclear fuel looks like, take a peek in there. Most people think nuclear fuel looks like green slime or glows. It's actually just metal rods. So if you look in there, that is where we stored our uranium rods prior to going into our reactor. Those uranium rods are completely safe to touch when you're loading them into the reactor. I believe the only thing they wore when they were loading our reactor's core were gloves. So those uranium rods are just fine to touch. That is the size of those rods. Those are dummy rods now. But if you were to take a gummy bear size, so just about the size of my pinky here, of nuclear fuel, it actually creates the same amount of electricity as a ton of coal. Which is really interesting because coal is also very energy dense, and 20% of the United States energy is nuclear nowadays.
Well, how much weight is in a nuclear reactor in an aircraft carrier?
So those airplanes never got built.
No, aircraft carrier. The nuclear aircraft carrier?
I don't know anything about those.
Well, I mean, they got nuclear reactors, and you said that would power like a ton of coal. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. The only thing, yeah. Google's a great resource. But yeah, I don't know much about the aircrafts. I just know about the engines outside, and those weren't successful. But yeah, yeah. Sorry. Maybe Vic at the end of the tour. Vic might know more about that. Yeah. This is the picture of them using that cask. So you can see them, they're wearing no protective gear. Interesting fact about EBR1, everyone that worked here actually lived well into their 90s. So that does not mean they didn't get any radiation exposure, just means the amount that they got was not a life-altering amount. If you look here, you'll see them loading that rod farm. So this is the top of our washroom, so that cask would have brought those rods here to wash the NAC off, and then they would have gone back in that cask and then back into this rod farm. These rods would have sat in here for about 6 to 18 months. If you look here, you'll see these little labels. Those labels there directly correlate with the chalkboard here. This chalkboard, I like to call it our really old Excel sheet. That's how they kept track of their fuel rods when they were stored in here. Personally, I think keeping track of nuclear fuel with the chalkboard when they're sitting in there for about a year is crazy, but nobody asked me, so. Yeah. Yeah,
I know, you just
it'll be really easy to
walk
wipe
by
it. Yeah.
accidentally touch
This picture here is a good picture of them actually using those manipulators. If you come around here,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah. So this,
Are those little red things buttons?
no, so they're little caps. So those little caps would come out and then those rods would go in.
The big rods you saw in the other building.
Yeah, that's where we stored
That's
them.
where they store 'em.
Isn't that crazy? So this is our hot cell. This hot cell is really cool. So this is where we're able to actually safely work on and study those nuclear fuel rods after they come out of our reactor or any other radioactive materials. This is 39 inches of concrete and 34 panes of lead infused glass. Between each pane of glass is a mineral oil. That mineral oil allows you to see through that leaded glass. This one here used to have a leak, so you can see without that mineral oil, you cannot see through the glass. But with it, you can actually see through it very well. We can also do this really cool trick. So you want to help me? Yeah, okay. We can do a magic trick. I have one joke and one magic trick, you guys. All right. We'll go like this. What you're gonna do, you're gonna go right up to the glass, you're gonna hold the flashlight all the way up to the glass, okay? Ta-da!
Oh, cool.
So if you sit and count every single ping of light, you can actually see 34 pings of light. If you hold it up all the way, you can see it a little bit easier. Isn't that crazy? So if you sat and count them, there'd be 34 of them. That is just the light reflecting off of the mineral oil, off of each pane of glass.
That's weird.
Yeah. The one over here shines blue and green because of the oxygen mixing with the mineral oil. Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
Yeah, because the other one's all yellow.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you're all good.
Wow. That's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my only trick.
Really neat.
So inside there you'll see those little manipulators. Those manipulators are all mechanical even today. The INL actually has the world's largest hot cell. And if you look up here, you'll see this kind of bay area. This bay area is actually smaller than the hot cell we have at the INL today. Our hot cell is the largest one in the world, unless another country has one they're not telling us about. Our manipulators now are still all mechanical. Radiation and electronics aren't very great friends, so they tend to break a lot faster than they're worth having. There used to be controls here on the outside. They've been broken since, but those controls would allow you to move the manipulators on the inside, then allowing you to study those rods. They would study those rods, see the levels of radiation, how hot they were, if they'd become plutonium, and then they'd put them from here to the hot cell. The manipulators training today, so if you were the ones who were actually working on the manipulators, the way they trained you on how to be successful in using them is that they had to flip a magazine page, they play Jenga, and they build a Lego set. So personally, I think that sounds like really fun training.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the end of our tour. There's also a basement you're welcome to check out. Around the corner is an EBR2 exhibit, which is very cool. And then outside, I definitely recommend checking out those plane engines as well.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for letting me give you guys a tour.
It's the only place on the whole reservation you can go.
Yes, without clearances and background checks, yeah. They do tours if you schedule them further in advance for bigger groups and things like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Check into that.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you. Do you want me to just slide this
What
on?
was your name again?
My name's Kayla.
Hi, Kayla. Thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I lost my microphone. Here we go. So you turn this crank, Hyla was just doing it, and it measures the radiation by clicking like a Geiger counter. It's hard. Volume isn't up very well.
Okay, so we are in the basement, the lowest level in EBR1. I wanted to show you these doors. Come and show them this, Vicky. So this door, I just say, is 3 feet thick, and it's obviously solid steel and concrete. This door, these are on railroad tracks. Show them the railroad wheels. Show them the railroad wheels. So look here. So there's 1, 2, and here's the third one. Now what I want you to do, come in here and show them this room, Vicky.
What's this one?
So look at this wall. Same deal, this wall is at least 3 feet thick. Come on in here.
Oh, real.
So show them this sign so that they can understand. Come on in here and show them what this says. Here, give me that for a second. It's easier for me to show you this. To understand what took place in this room. And to be quite honest, we're a little bit freaked out to even be in here. Okay, so look at the glass window. That's same deal. That's 3 feet thick of leaded glass. And here, take this. So here we have a rotating mechanical table. So we'll call it the object. The object was sat on that rotating table, and then step back here, Vicki. So from outside the room, this entire apparatus was mechanically operated, like basically robotic. They didn't have robots back then. So this was basically a mechanical robot. And using all of this mechanical wizardry, he could remove those bricks and replace them. Just look at this. And being in this room is kind of weird. I mean, we're basically in a giant vault, and somebody closed that door. Trust me, I don't care what you had for tools, you ain't ever getting back out. So this place is absolutely amazing. There's more here. Go ahead out so we can show them where I'm at. Turn around and show them. There is more here to see and more here to understand. We could film in here. You could film in here for 2 straight weeks and you'd never begin to understand. And the fact that they did this stuff in the 1950s there were, I suppose there still are, there were men that were so smart, and they did this stuff with frickin' slide rules. I mean, they didn't have computers and crap. And what is here is astounding. If you appreciate this kind of stuff, it is just simply amazing. So I don't know if we're going to finish this right now or not, but if we don't, this is free to get into this place. It's just come here. All you got to do is get here and come in here. And I would suggest spending at least a day if you really want to understand this stuff. I mean, it is amazing. So come to EBR 1 in Arco, Idaho. Becky. Wait, turn that on. What's going on?
Nothing. I just tripped over her.
Is this running?
Yes, it is running.
Is it recording right now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, ready? Okay. Well, it'd be easier just to... How long?
No, stay here with us. Yes. What now?
Why is that guarded off?
Oh, because they don't want you going that way. Maybe it's too steep. Maybe they don't want kids falling. It is very steep set of stairs.
Maybe someone tripped on it and they got sued. Maybe someone had an accident on it and got sued.
Again, there's cool stuff. Show them this vault door. Here, you get in there so they can see perspective. So here's the vault door, and look what we're in here.
This was in the tour.
Okay, watch. Look in here. Now, how many times are you going to see something like that? They literally had them suspended from the ceiling. And look at the scale that's in there. Evidently, they needed to know the weight of them. This is just amazing. Okay, now come over here. So, this, I don't need to talk louder. They're here to see. Okay, so again, this is before, this is mechanical robotics. Okay, look at this, read this right here. So now look at this. Look at this. Gigantic mechanical arms so that they could look at the hands in there. Can you see that? And I don't know if you can see the perspective here. I'm gonna put my hand here. This is lead glass that I would say is at least 3 feet thick. And look at the mechanical. It almost looks like, remember Lost in Space, and the robot had those weird mechanical hands? Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Well, look at this. How on earth did they build stuff like this? Look in there. Look at this. Here, I'm going to try to back up to give you the perspective of this. Look at the size. I guess we'd call that a containment facility. Look at that thing. Because again, the stuff that was in the middle of it was going to be, the stuff they were handling was highly radioactive. And that guy stood out here and used these arms to manipulate those arms that are in there. And again, look at the little radiation detector that's on this. Look at this thing. That thing's probably 14 feet high. That's probably about 14 by 14 by 14. That thing's big. And look, they got an overhead crane in here. Overhead crane. And this, go stand against that wall. Those people up there are on top of the actual reactor core. I don't know if you call it the reactor core, the reactor containment. Where Vicky is standing is I don't know what to call it. It is the containment. You can go up there and look down in and see where the core was. So, look at this thing. It's big, really big. By the way, if you want to go and understand more about all this stuff, this is really good. This is partly why we came here. Okay, so here, come here, Hilo. So stand by the sign there. So Hilo has been watching Smarter every day on YouTube since you were 2 years old?
Yes.
Okay, that's why she's so smart. So this guy right here, Destin Sandlin, he has a really good YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning everything about everything, he came here and made a very in-depth, very high-level video, and Hilo's watched it many times. But if you want to watch it, go to YouTube right there and watch him, and boy, you will learn stuff. Here, let's look at this. See, the facility that we're at right now is EBR 1. There's also EBR 2. And EBR 2 is a huge facility that is restricted. There's no public access to it. I read a sign somewhere in here that said there have been either 58 or 59 other reactors that they have built out there to test all different kinds of stuff. Anyways, this place is cool. This is the actual, where the actual core was. We'll go up there and look down in it. Did you look down in it already? You did or didn't look in it? You did look in it?
The tour, yes.
Oh, cool. The speakers are so loud in here. You have to move it slow. That's not nearly slow enough.
There are 2 points on conservation that have come home to me in the last 2 days. One is the necessity for us to protect what we already have, what nature gave to us, and use it well, not to waste water or land.
So show them the picture of what EBR2 looks like. Are we still getting sound on here, Vicki?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's EBR2. Somewhere else, somewhere in this building, which I can't find again, it said that they have now built either 58 or 59 different types of reactors there. We're standing in EBR1. That's EBR2. And that's just down the road about, I don't know, 10 miles. But it's a secure facility. They won't let you in.
30 years ago may have been wholly unknown. So we use nuclear power for peaceful purposes.
Come with us,
power.
Vicki.
We must hasten the development of low-cost atomic power. I think we should lead the world. By 1967, 68, 1970, in the northeast United States, the power rates are nearly double yours. We're going to find atomic power.
So show them what the containment facility looked like.
This is going to be a tremendous source. Our experts
You'll see right here. Here, you hold this and show. See this hole right here? Okay, that was access. Come over here now and look. So here's how that they actually, if you had to go in it, they had these, you can read all about it, they had these doors that were absolutely sealed doors, airtight sealed doors, and you couldn't open one without opening the other, and etc. I'm telling you. I mean, there's what represented a bus back then, right? And yet they were doing this level of stuff. Just imagine the kind of vehicles and things we could build if they were meant to last, because this thing's still over there and it's still running. I mean, look at this stuff. It is just absolutely amazing. Now I want to come over here though and show you something that's quite disturbing. So they're explaining all the technology of how this works. Why is EBR2 world famous? But there's a little bit right here that they don't quite give you the rest of the story. Come and show them this. So 3 Mile Island reactor, the accident was water-cooled reactor. Look what it says right here. The water-cooled reactor to overheat, resulting in a core meltdown. Okay, Fukushima, that was 1979. That's the year I graduated high school. Okay, so Fukushima, 2011. The Fukushima reactor, why don't you hold it up there so they can see it? Okay, so essentially they had a meltdown there also. That's 2011. Here, Chernobyl, 1986. Read this. At that time, high power surge melted the fuel, burst the cladding, and ignited the graphite. Okay, that was 1986. So it's kind of interesting. They give you that information right there, but then they don't give you a conclusion, because you have these 3 accidents. And like Fukushima, I know for a fact, because every now and then we check on it. Vicki checks on it because she had cancer. It's still over there pumping out radiation like crazy. So you've had 3 worldwide major accidents that basically have no conclusion to them. And you wonder why everybody's sick and everybody has cancer.
But then they show how the
Right.
this type is safe.
Exactly. If they would have built it this way, if they would have built it like EBR2, what they're saying is EBR2 is such a better design, superior design to what these were, that if those same exact accidents, the same scenarios had happened at 3 Mile Island or Fukushima or Chernobyl, that there would have been no radiation release. There would not have been an actual accident. This, again, it's too much to read to you right here, but it is very, very interesting. They have built-in safety devices that do not require human intervention. In other words, they happen automatically. So that's really very cool. But it is interesting that they bother to point out that there's been 3 accidents, but they, like Paul Hervey used to say, the rest of the story. They don't quite tell you. They just sort of end the sentence like, this is what happened. Oh. So they don't say, well, what's still happening? So, yeah, show them that.
Right. Yeah, that's important stuff.
And what's amazing is, of course, like I told you, they won't let us go over and look in EBR2 because it's still an active facility that they're over experimenting with all kinds of stuff, I believe, right at this very moment. But, you know, we're in the EBR1 facility and it is amazing. But they're showing you all these photos of what ERB2 is, and far, far, far more advanced. So, like anything, the first time you do something, it's not going to be as good as the second or the third or the 10th. It gets better. And the new, that facility is, compared to this is archaic. I mean, just look at some of it. The whole thing. Come over here and show them actual fuel rods, Vicki. So look. Now, of course, these aren't radioactive, but these are the actual rods. Here, show them the picture right here. We'll show them, see remember downstairs, we showed you the rods hanging in that vault where they move them mechanically from one place to another because they're radioactive. But these are the actual rods that go down in these cores, I guess you would call it. Look at them in the picture right here. The whole thing is just absolutely amazing. Let them read this right here too, or read that to them. Is your mic working?
No.
Your mic's not on?
No.
Here, move it slow. Let me have that just for a second.
That light's.
And of course, there's a horrible light right there, but there's nothing we can do about that. But it's hard unless you know about this stuff. It's very hard without reading all of this. I mean, you better, if you're going to come here and learn this, you better be prepared to read. I've been reading for like the past 2 or 3 straight hours, and you almost get a headache. There's so much to read. The good thing about this on camera is you can just stop that, you know, hit stop and sit there and read it all if you want to. Okay. Anyways, I think, are we about done?
I think we're done.
Again, you could spend days in here. Just come. It is worth coming. Like I said, it's free. Free to get in here. It's just amazing what men can do. Show you.
Bye. See you next time.
Hold that and show them. Okay, so look, this we had to come back for a second. This place is like a giant maze in here. Just to design this building would have been unbelievable. But we'll watch. Ready? You ready, Hilo? Okay, here, watch Hilo. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, watch. Okay, now we don't even know where the heck she went. She's like, watch this. Watch this. So there she just appears right there.
One more time.
It's like a maze in here. It goes everywhere.
One more time. I got stuck.
3 tries just to
all right.
find this spot again.
You're not supposed to run. You don't run in here. Okay, watch. There she goes. Who knows where she's going? There's like 40 ways to get everywhere. All right, we gotta go. See you later.
See ya.